educators around the world to be present in our local webinars, the webinars that are uh, contributors to the EFL community for English purpose and for professional development. Thank you so much for being here. And well, today we have a topic that is related to methodology, um, and well, so educators actively can use them in class. I'm sure that educators usually implement in a face-to-face classroom and also in a hybrid classroom. So due to the fact that the pandemic has already introduced us to this new word, which is the asynchronic classes for many educators that they didn't know how to use the different applications, but they now have to use these tools. So why is it important? So it depends on your purpose. It depends on the place where you're working. And there are so many reasons that you need to take it. You need to engage your students. So that's why it's important. So let me introduce what the topic is. And first, we're going to start. My name is Andrés Rodriguez. I'm from Guayaquil, Ecuador. And I think that I try to be passionate, okay? I try to be passionate when I teach. And also, I like to enrich these topics with the contributions that I would like to make. And also that our colleagues, they also gain experience and they share with us. So the topics is, so the reason is that we can enrich each other. So that's very valuable. And that's the reason why we do these webinars. All right. So first of all, I wanna start with this uh, quote, which is join international and local experts gather online to share and discuss unique experiences, important research, and their best practices in their field of language teaching and learning around the world. So, how is it true? How does it make it can be a myth or is it real? So you can write in the chat if you consider that is it true or maybe is it false according to your experience, no? Um, well, I remember once told me that a person uh, she was curious and told me that how can I gain more experience in speaking English? How can improve my English skills? So there are many ways that you can improve your English skills. So you need to practice first, and also you need to convey into your strengths. Okay, strengths are um, the faculties and the potentials that you have in your communication. For example, you can focus on pronunciation, on fluency, or the message itself, or you try to reverse. So you need to change the thing that you need to improve, okay, by practicing, by finding an expert, as the quote says. So local experts, they can also be native or non-native speakers, okay, colleagues that they can give you feedback. So feedback is very important for you to reassure and to see what aspect you need to improve and when you need to change in order to go to another level of your speaking. All right. So that's why I want you to introduce and to this part, of the language speaking. Okay. So now we're going to start with the topic that we are going to talk about today. Enhancing formative assessment facilitated by gamification. All right. So first of all, let me introduce these topics. What is formative assessment? What is gamification? If you have an idea, you can write in the chat. For example, when we evaluate, okay, every time, every moment in the class, okay, we observe because we teachers are observers, and we find out solutions to difficult situations or challenges that happen and occur in the physical classroom or in the asynchronous classes. If we detect minor errors in our students' grammar, if they need to develop other skills, Okay, we are evaluating by observation. It can be an action research. All right. So action research is one of the research tools that, as investigators or the ones that want to find out solutions, we try to take notes and observe why do we need to improve in our students. And after that, we can transform or change those mistakes into strengths and positive things. But we need to reinforce them. And after that, we can apply formative assessments. Okay. So many teachers believe that they don't need to use a diagnostic test, and they just try to start the new session with the curriculum. So I think it's a better idea if you can include in part of your teaching practice your philosophy and a diagnostic test, because your students don't know you from the first day. Okay, and sometimes they're shy on their prior knowledge is not so good enough to understand what your methodology is or how well you are going to work with them. So you need a treatment, you need rapport, you need inspiration first. No, don't go fast. All right, don't go fast. All right. So you can evaluate or you can observe every day, and after every week you can use different assessments or activities to evaluate them regularly. That is formative assessment. What do you evaluate? You can evaluate um, knowledge, you can evaluate um, skills, you can evaluate different content areas in your teaching, in your language teaching. All right. So that is the purpose of formative assessment, to evaluate every moment of your class. Okay. And during the week, you can do formative assessments. No. So don't wait until the last moment of your unit content in order to evaluate. So you can do it every week, okay, periodically, in order to know how your students are. And apart from that, gamification. All right, so it exists a myth that they um, compare gamification with games. All right, so gamification is not normally games. That term is focused on interactive activities. Games, they are also part of tools. They are part of gamifications. But gamification they are not only games. They are more than games. They are interactive activities that they imply cooperative learning. They imply uh, assigned roles that the teacher gives to the students in order to achieve a specific purpose, right? So that is the purpose of gamification, okay? Using the intellectual skills or the metacognitive skills uh, as tools to support you in order to assess, in order to achieve the goals and skills in order to use effectively your formative assessment in the class, no? All right, so how can we illustrate it? Let me show you in the next screen. For example, when we are doing an icebreaker in class, all right? So in this moment, let's imagine that we are in the class. For example, when the teacher explains the new lesson and they say, okay, today we are going to talk about plants in a science class, no? Okay, my dear children, write in your notebook a list of plants that you know, how you classify them, right? Maybe the teacher is testing the students what they learned before, all right? So in this moment, if I ask you, Okay, introduce your name in the chat box. Tell us about your favorite application, games, or the ones you apply in your virtual classes. All right. Well, um, well, in my case, I would say Kahoot. I would say Socrative, and there are some more others. No, in your case, you can write, okay, a list of things, a list of tools that they were very useful to you in the virtual classes. And also you can make some adaptations and adjustments that you used before when you were in the before the pandemic, and you brought to your virtual classes, and then you make some adjustments, you make some changes, you know. So that part is very it's vital. It's vital to expect that our students produce. No, it's important to distinguish that face-to-face classes, they're not, we don't have the same result that we have virtual classes. So there are different things that we have to observe, and results are not conclusive in our classes. No, okay. So this is a question for you before we started this topic. So if you observe this quote, no, the quote I mean is in the figure, okay? This is in Spanish. So the teacher tries to evaluate with the same instrument, with the same tool, okay? Trying to measure qualitative and quantitative to different people, okay? So how do you know that they are different? Every individual is different, okay? So it happens in the real class. So the instrument that we use to evaluate or to see how our students know or our students develop skills, they don't need to be the same instruments, because we need to observe different reactions, different things. They think differently, they feel in a different way. For example, as a monkey, they don't have the capacity to fly. Or for example, an elephant, he can't swim. All right, the fish, without water, he would die. And so they are different. They can't jump. All right. So we need to differentiate different talents, different skills in order to evaluate individually. Okay. So in other words, what I mean is that you need to see different ways of assessments, of evaluation, not only the official paper, okay, with multiple choice, standardized tests. No matter what number of students you are, you can use different forms of evaluating your students. And maybe you will ask me, okay, teacher, but my students are shy. They don't like to work cooperatively, and they don't want to go in front of the class and speak and expose a topic. Okay, but you can evaluate their effort. You can evaluate different talents. If they draw, if they're persevering, if they are working so hard with their partner, with their peers, if they are helping each other. So you can evaluate that too, not only the specific product. So you need to evaluate everything, different things. Okay, don't expect until the last minute just to evaluate the final product. And this is the lesson that this quote tried to show us as teachers. So find different forms of evaluating. All right. So I think that in your class you have found different challenges. So I would say, okay, teacher, but I have a number of students that they pass from 40 in my class. I can't do it. Let me tell you that you can do it. Okay, public schools, the number of students are so many. Use group activities and try to assign roles. Okay, TPR activities, or they can create something new in the classes. I'm completely sure that they would do it, right? Excepting for a student that they need to work differentiated assignments, so you need to work individually with them, but you can also have excellent results with your students. All right. So my recommendation is don't only use the typical standardized test with multiple choice that because that format is just about knowledge. If you want to see different results, use different techniques to your students. I know that it demands hard working. It is time consuming. You need to take some number of hours for planning. All right, but let me tell you the truth. It's worth it. I said it's worth it because you would see different results. It takes time. It's consuming. I know, but if you want to improve your teaching practice and see your students' results that they improve, go ahead and do it. So let me tell you that they can do it well. Okay. Please, you have any question, please, you can ask me about it. Okay, so here we have another thing. What are the myths of computer games? Okay, we recently talked about that computers are part of gamification, but computers are not only part of gamification. So we can include different activities, differentiate activities, activities that can be distinguished with interaction, competition. All right. So not necessary games. No, students that promote critical thinking, metacognitive skills, analyzing, comparing, contrasting, summarizing, things like that. Creativity, as Bloom taxonomy. Okay, explain, describe, create, compare. Okay, so they can use the diversity of metacognitive skills. For instance, we have some myths that we normally believe. Okay, so the idea, what is the idea of this illustration? As educators, we need to debate or we need to find our own beliefs. Okay, it's certainly true that there are some um, things that appear in the language community that the experts share with us, interesting insights, research, the different results of the researcher that they use them in order to share with us. But it's necessary to see what what results can we use in our classes, in our reality. Remember that it depends on our local context, our students' knowledge. Okay, so if we believe that everything in the content area is useful for us, we will feel frustrated because not everything will be apparently good enough for our students. So we need to first take time in order to get to know our students. For example, video games make people violent? Do you really think so? When we are talking about video games, we're not only talking about fights or competition when the students like to play soccer or any other activity that involve competition, no? So computer games and video games, excepting for the ones that the parents control and show them the time and responsibility that our students need to have when they use video games. Okay, video games are not bad. Okay, if we control and restrict the limits, okay, when they play. Another myth is the gamers are only men. No, that's not completely true. We also incorporate women too, so they can play male and female. So, because that's a competition, we are all humans and we develop different things. All right? All gamers take video games extremely seriously? No, I don't think so. Well, so if you are an addicted person, that your vision is only gain, you need to feel superior to others and you need to win all the time. Maybe yes, you take it seriously, but the games are not serious. So it's just a game, very interactive activity that you play just for fun. Okay, so we need to explain to our children and teenagers that video games are not totally serious. We don't play seriously. We just need for entertainment and fun. It's just part of our, if we don't have leisure activities, we can include video games, but just 1 hour a week or 2 hours, but no more than that, because we can open opportunities to become um, addiction, to turn into an addiction, and that's not good, right? Gamers aren't well adjusted socially. Let me explain you what is this term, social addict. So leaving behind things that people they don't know or they don't like to socialize with others, and they are only immersed in the video games world, and they don't like to be sociable with others. They just they pretend to be on the time with me. That's not completely true. Just people that they like to interact and play for fun, they're socially they are sociable, and they can also be other people that are introverted and shy. So that's nothing that it doesn't work with those. No, that's not a that's not real. Another myth is, if you play video games, sorry, if you play games in general, you must know everything about technology. It means that do you think that is true? I'm not completely sure about it. Just because someone plays video games and they are addicted and they know about everything, I don't think so. Because what is the most important thing about the technology? How to use it. No, know how much time you spend or the time consuming you spend when using the technology. Is what you really know about the technology, how to use it. What is the purpose? For example, if you're a writer, if you compose music, you need to know the research tools that are very important for you. If you are a teacher, you need to know the websites, you need to know the appliances, the websites that are useful for you to share. All right. So, what is the most important thing? How to use the content, how to create it. All right. This is the most important thing. Know if you know everything. All right. And the last one is, only people that never grew up play video games. How can we understand it? So never grew up means that when they get mature, when they are older enough. No, so it means that only childless people play video games. So adult people, the childless adult people can play mistake. No, if you play for fun, that's not bad. So it doesn't mean that you are immature if you play video games just for fun. No, I know many professionals, people that um, play video games just 1 a week or just 1 a month, but nothing, they don't take it seriously. It's just for fun. If when you play a sport, just for your leisure time. So that's the idea about computer games or games in general. All right. Okay. So, all right. Let's continue with another slide here. So, what are the benefits of playing games? Okay. So, we already discussed before that one of the activities that playing games are, they develop the critical thinking. Okay. Because we assume that playing games is just for fun. Yes, it's for fun, but it demands a lot of mental work, mental effort, because you need to remember patterns. You need to know what is the sequence, what is going to happen. So you need to be focused and concentrated with the thing you need to, it's expected to you to respond. So it's responsive. So, right, it's a mental effort that you need to know. So that's good for you. All right. It's a little competitive because it is full of adrenaline. So you need to gain adrenaline when you play. And that's good because you feel challenged. You feel challenged. The playing games challenge you in order to promote what you need to respond. Is is responsive. All right. So in this in this um in this slide we can read some benefits. For example, They speed up response time. So in other words, you need to be faster. Okay, you need to be faster. So you need to think clearly. In your mental picture, you need to know, for example, when you play Kahoot, you read a question and you have 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Sorry, seconds, sorry. You read 10 seconds, you need to quickly respond. As soon as you're responding, you will have if you're right or wrong. Okay? They encourage teamwork. Okay. Some of the games incorporate teamwork activities. Teamworks are not only when you play with a team. Teamwork means that you have assigned roles to do, to follow patterns. For example, let's suppose that you are playing I don't know, a car race competition, and both of you are racing the cars. So one person is driving, the other person is just observing, and the other one is helping you. So there are specific roles that you need to develop in the teamwork. This is the purpose of teamwork, that each person has to develop specific steps in order to achieve a particular purpose, a particular objective. All right. They stimulate creativity, focus, and visual memory. Exactly. I do it. I personally do it. For example, when you play games, and you need to be full of curiosity, you need to think clearly, you need to have a mental picture. It's like when you cross a mountain and you are expected to cross the river or go up to a mountain. So you first observe what is going to happen around you and what will be the possible things that will be around you. So how can you solve it? So you need first to respond and to see in your mind, how are you going to um, um, solve these challenges that will happen. So you need to focus. You need to have a visual memory and the creativity, the things you need to know uh, in order to achieve the goal. You need to develop strategy. Mental strategy is very important. In real life, it happens, not only in the games. Okay, when you are going to reach a goal, what do you do first? You think about the objective first, no? For example, if you want to be the best sportman in your school or in your class, or you want to do something, okay? So you need to have a mental picture. You need to imagine what are the things you need to, okay, I need to develop this, I have to do this, I don't need to do this, I have to take risk in this, so I need to do this sacrifice. So you first list or brainstorm a little things that you are going to do, the positive thing. On the other side, you change into the drawbacks of the thing that challenge you. So you need to be strategic, and you need to be your own leader. Okay, you are a leader. I'm not talking about when you are a group of people, when you're leading a group of people. I'm referring to you are your own leader. If you need to do a challenge, if you need to pass a challenge, you need to develop your own leader. You are a leader. Leader of what? Or leader of who? You are your own leader. Okay? So, you need to sacrifice. You need to wake up in the morning. You need to control your time. You need to sacrifice. So, you are your own leader. If you want to expect good results, you need Garner, in addition to this quote, explained that the desire of winning and achievement is intrinsically in the student. So if you read the two quotes, okay, of these contributors, you will observe that they were included in the benefits. In one definition, they talk about critical thinking. The other talk about imagination developing skills to solve some circumstances. So they are incorporating in gamification. Let's go to how can we incorporate in classes. So we are seeing in this picture that it is a face-to-face class. No, it's not a hybrid class. It's not asynchronous. For example, gains in class, no, increases participation, fosters social and emotional learning, and motivates students to take risk. Okay, my question is, are they working separately as a teamwork? No, I don't think so. Or if you think that it is yes, you can respond it. But if you observe attentively in this picture, every person is doing something. Okay? For example, this man apparently is doing nothing, but maybe he's reading or maybe he's analyzing something in the game. Everybody's trying to solve the puzzle of the activities that they are doing, or maybe they are it's like a playing some if they're playing something, obviously. So everybody's thinking, everybody is enthusiastically sharing things with others. All right. So the teacher, what is the role of the teacher? The teacher, it means that he or she does nothing. No, the teacher plays a role of observer, and he tries to help students, but he doesn't solve the problem. He gives the tools to help the student in order to help the student, but the students are the protagonists in this activity. All right, so this is the difference of the role of each one. The teacher is just the person who supports the students, but the teacher is supported with ideas, no solving the problems. The students are encouraged to solve the problems. Okay, so in this moment, we're going to see things how to gamify our classroom. Okay, so there are some of recommendations that we can use in our classroom. For example, uh, we illustrated gamification with different applications with Kahoot, for example, but we have more. Kahoot, Try Dojo, Typeform, there are three examples of applications that they're so famous, okay, in the virtual class. Okay, so if you have a laptop, if you have a projector in your class, you can easily um, apply in your classes. Okay, so if you don't have computers or games, be creative. So you can use a chart, okay, and you can write, for example, like a survey or like a, I don't know, it depends on the topic that you are working in class. If you're talking about food, for example, you can make it survey design of just known questions, or you can use countable and uncountable nouns, or they can take lists, but be creative in your class, no? So don't stop just because you can't do it. You can create in different ways or make your own visuals in class. All right. Set frequent class competitions. When I say frequent class, we are not referring that every single day you need to do it. But I mean that I recommend you twice a week, once a week. It depends on just number of hours that you have in your school. So if you create frequent class competitions, I'm completely sure that your students um, will develop their memory. Okay, the memory is part of the critical thinking skills. This is a tool. Why memory? Because in English, we need repetition. We need the vocabulary is with as many words that we repeated in class. We don't teach words or vocabulary just by isolation. No, we need vocabulary for a purpose. The vocabulary is in the content lesson that you are going to, what are you going to teach? You just not writing in the board, okay, a list of words and the student have to learn. No, you just teach vocabulary with context. You need to contextualize and give the opportunity for students to use the vocabulary or give input as Gratian says. Instead of that, you're not teaching the correct way. You just write on the board and send your students to study. And no, no, no. The correct form is that you need to contextualize vocabulary. All right. We need to display cumulative scoreboards with weekly prizes. No? Okay, weekly prizes mean the winners or the ones that make an effort to achieve the goals, they will receive you, not only you will prize them, no? Okay, Juan, go ahead, you do it well, bravo. No, no, more than that, no? So you need to feedback them, no? You do it a good well. You need to improve this. You do it well, but you need to improve in this way. All right. So giving feedback is more prizing your students. Okay, it's being honest, telling the truth what they need to improve. And also you can do it challenge individual using smart targets like certificates or star boards. Okay, for example, for the first place, you can give 3 star boards. You know what is a star board, no? The stars, no, 3 stars. For the second place, you will do it 2. Or for the third place, you give 1. Okay, and for the rest of the students, unfortunately, they don't have stars, but you can prize them, or you can give, I don't know, or maybe I think that you can create digital certificates, or you can print certificates and give to your students in the classes. They feel so happy. People love when you recognize and when you accept that they do it well. Everybody, teenagers, children, even adults, when they prize, because we feel congratulated, they feel so proud of you. Okay, so do it in class and call them in front of your classmates. Okay, so you have done a good job. If you want to continue, keep doing working so hard. For the next part, you will have more. So you motivate your students in the classes. All right. Okay. In this moment, as a part of your intervention, okay, so I would like you to mention, for example, 5 positive things for our activities you can do with gamification in virtual classes. List 3 or 4 problems that you can deal with games in virtual classes. Okay, raise your hand in this moment and make a comment. What do you think are positive things or challenges here? Okay, so it's your time for speaking. If you need to time for texting in the chat box, just do it. All right, and I will read your comments. Okay, I appreciate it. If you have any comment, okay. Anyway, you can participate it, okay, in advance that we are showing the slides. Okay, so uh, as part of reflective questions that we have here, what applications would you use or have used in your virtual classes with your students? Kahoot, okay, Wikimodo, Socrative, and what others have you used? Have you ever tested to your students in formative assessments? Um, what is formative assessment? Do you remember formative assessment? No? So activities that you do during the process. Not necessarily you have to wait until the last minute uh, at the end of your month in order to evaluate your students. You can do it during the week. You can do it in 2 weeks, etc. No, or every week, right? So please let me know, Mr. Daniel Chunga. Okay, well, so let's continue. Okay, this is a question related to um, formative assessment, no? Is formative assessment only evaluation, or they are referring to evaluating things? What do you think about it? My personal reflection about formative assessment is not only related to a final product, is every word, every moment we are evaluating. For example, when you're testing students' memory with vocabulary, are you evaluating? Yes, you're evaluating knowledge. When you are teaching skills, you are evaluating too. You are doing, but but it's not until the end. It's during every class, every moment that you have, or according to the number of hours that you have during the week. This is formative assessment. So I can respond in that way. Okay, let me see another one. What is the role of the teacher in formative assessment? Okay, we can see here, assessment of learning. Follow test administration procedures, use results, students to reach GPS, no? What is this for? Okay, so what is the purpose of the formative assessment? What is the teacher's role? So it's not only evaluating, okay, it's improving, okay, making decisions, note taking, all right? So listing things that you can teach in the future to your students. List the number of things that you can improve with your students. Okay, so after you do this, you inform to your students what they can expect or they have improved. For example, if they have improved for learning, okay, you can inform with targets. What is targets? Small certificates, no? For example, quantitative when they have A, B, or C, or D. But I don't recommend you to do this. It's much better if you explain them qualitative. Qualitative means when you are giving a feedback with pricing what they need, what they are good at, and what they need to improve. I think this is much better. Okay, because if you write letters A, B, C, maybe they feel a little bit bad because they think, okay, I don't know English, I need to. So try to be a little, uh, uh, don't be so strict when you are giving a result to your students, no? So I mean that try to go directly, but evaluate their learning, not as a person, okay? So take price the person, but explain what they need to improve. Modify instruction. Modify instruction means to change what you think is not going to be important to your student. Modify instruction is adapt the things that you incorporate what your students need. Remember that it depends on your students' need. Know what you think they need. This is a big mistake that some educators do it with the lesson planning when they don't do when they do follow the diagnostic test. Without diagnostic test, it's like when you're driving away when you don't have a map. All right, so you need a map. What is your map? Your diagnostic text, because you observe what they need to improve and you modify. You just change. So we educators need to embrace it, and we need to accept that sometimes we need to make some corrections in the designing of our lesson plans. In addition, involve students in assessment. So involve students in assessment doesn't mean that we are doing only cooperative learning. Involve students in assessment is um, motivate to your students to change, that they are their own leaders, that they need to change, that they are the ones that they can be the protagonists of their change. Not only the teacher, the student themselves, but the teachers are the leaders in the class when they motivate the student and show us the way how they can assume their own responsibility. I mean the students. All right. So this is the role of the teacher in the formative assessment. Okay. So my final conclusions or some reflection that I made during some last classes in this last year, especially for pandemic. Okay, the hybrid classes that we already have in different institutions, universities, high schools, for example, we already done in some research, cases studies, virtual classes, and what we will see it. Okay, gamification in hybrid classes, they are positive, especially when students when the content you teach, they the students feel that they needed to learn. So individually or in teamwork, that is very important. In this next slide, we have an example. This is about how to use grammar. For example, some aspects of the grammar are very important that they can use. For example, they can respond how to use a structure, how to complete and fill forms. All right. So teaching grammar is also incorporating content value, okay, because they needed grammar. Or when you play speaking skills with your students, okay, so remember, content skills, they go together, okay, they go together in the learning process. So how you evaluate them, you don't only evaluate what you expect they speak or what you expect they respond. Okay, so you need to see the real level, their knowledge, the content they know in order to support them. And these are examples of some classes that I have already done it. Okay. Um, in one of the places, in one of my last workplaces, those are the results that are already made and how well students have already improved. No, so what I mean is, for example, in the faculty of pedagogy, the university where I used to work, I could see some students that have improved. So how can you measure it? With the adaptation and improvement, you change in your teaching practice, and you will see in your student results and the way that they respond you effectively. So satisfactory, I would say that I feel proud of my students because they already understood and they were their own leaders, their natural leaders to uh, feel that they feel that they could do it more better, much better. Okay, so finally, this is my last picture of the presentation of this topic about gamification. So I expect that it could be very useful to you. So if you have any question, Mercy, Juan, Daniel, please, in this moment I can answer you. All right? Let me know, please.
No, I don't have any question for me. It's clear everything.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Daniel, is everything okay? Do you have any comment? Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciated the time. I appreciated your effort being here on Sunday. So in this moment, we're going to have the last picture of the presentation. So if you can open your cameras, please, I appreciate it much. Okay, hello, Mercy. Hello, Mr. Daniel. Okay, Juanita, it's okay, no problem. I appreciate it, please. Okay, let me take a capture of this. All right, thank you so much. I hope you have a very nice and blessed Sunday. So I expect to that you will be in the next webinar that we are organizing, where Language Academy is so proud to offer you, and we are going to have more classes. Thank you so much and have a nice Sunday. Goodbye, everybody.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Have a good day.